arts teacher, author of the YA series, the Lunar Chronicles, and the YA series, the Elementals. This is a YA book review of Heartless by Marissa Meyer, who also wrote the Lunar Chronicles retellings. And you can check out those book reviews on this channel as well, and I will put the links to them at the end of this video. But before I get started, I'd like to just take a moment to admire this gorgeous cover without the dust jacket. I was lucky enough to see Marissa Meyer at an event at a local library, and that is where I got my copy of Heartless. And it was a wonderful event. She was very dressed up, and she put on a talent show, kind of like the Hatter does in her version of the retelling of the Queen of Hearts story. So that was kind of fun. She took volunteers from the audience, and then at the end she answered a lot of questions that people had for her. So I do believe, if I recall correctly, she's going to have a new series coming out. I feel like she said this fall. I'd have to double check on my Instagram what I said, but I'm almost positive she said she'll be having a new series coming out in the fall. So that's really exciting. So Heartless makes me feel heartless after reading it, if I'm being honest. I knew that it could not end well. If you think it could end well, you are a fool, just like the jester in the story, because it is the story of the Queen of Hearts, and so you just know that it can't end well. And I think part of me kind of hoped that it would, but then it wouldn't be true to the story. Some things I loved about this book is I love the romance. It's a secretive romance between Catherine, Lady Pinkerton, and the new court jester named Jest. And Jest is totally book boyfriend worthy, which I think Marissa Meyer kind of has that down between all the awesome guys in the Lunar Chronicles. So that was amazing. The world building is amazing. She talks a little bit about chess, which is where Jest is from, but the primary amount of the story takes place in Hearts, which is where Cath is. And the light synopsis, with trying to avoid spoilers, is that the King of Hearts is smitten with Cath, primarily because she's an awesome baker and he just finds her to be lovely. But the king is kind of portrayed as, you know, kind of simple-minded, I guess you could say. And he's not meant for you to detest him, but you kind of become really frustrated with him, at least I did, because he just seems so silly, and you could totally see why Cath doesn't want to be with him, but her parents are really, really pushing it, and no one really seems to take what Cath's heart wants and what her desires are into account. So she kind of falls head over heels for Jest, and he falls in love with her too. And you know, there are some twists and turns along the way. There's some great incorporation of I don't know if Lewis Carroll did this because it's been so long since I read the actual Alice in Wonderland, but there's some incorporations of, you know, Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, that nursery rhyme. There's also incorporation of Peter, Peter, pumpkin eater, and that kind of plays a big role in the story. There is the Jabberwocky, which they thought was slain, which comes back and is wrecking, you know, havoc on everything. And so there are lots of, you know, plot problems, I guess you could say. Not plot problems in terms of Marissa Meyer's writing, but plot need in terms of conflicts that need solved in the story. Also, the Hatter is present in this, and I think that Marissa Meyer does an amazing job of presenting the Hatter before he's gone mad and kind of his descent into madness. The only thing that was a negative for me is that at times the plot seemed a little bit slow, and I'm not sure if that's because of some of the writing. Some of it seemed kind of dragged out, or if that's because I was dreading coming to the end because I knew it was going to end badly. So initially, I just finished this last night. My initial reaction was 4.5 stars, but I think it's closer to 5. I bumped it up to 5 on Goodreads, and I think the more I think about it, the more I like it, and it will break your heart. And the whole part about Heartless is really interesting. I really like the direction Marissa Meyer took with that, and I really like how she explains why the Queen of Hearts is the way she is once you get into Alice in Wonderland. And it really makes you feel for her. I mean, I didn't feel, reading Ferris, I really didn't feel for Queen Lavanna too much. I mean, maybe just like a tiny, tiny bit, but she was kind of psychotic. And like, I don't feel that Cath, the Queen of Hearts, is as psychotic. Like, you get why she is the way she is and why she, you know, is off with her head and is so, you know, vengeful. And it's a really great story. I think that you should totally read it. It is a standalone book. It played out like a movie in my head as I read it, so I kind of secretly hope that it gets picked up and is turned into a movie, but like a good movie, not a disappointing movie, because you know the book is always better. But you should definitely pick up Heartless by Marissa Meyer. And I don't think I will ever get, you know, sick of fairy tale retellings, and I definitely will not get sick of Alice in Wonderland style retellings. So this is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. And then we want happy reading and happy writing.